has found that 1 million women in the UK could be forced out of their jobs because their employers are failing to support them as they go through the menopause.
Yeah, and that is exactly what's happened to our next guest, Debs, Wallbank and Lesley, Salem. They both left careers that they once loved after the crippling menopause symptoms went unrecognised.
And as they join calls for companies to become more educated on the topic, they are both with us now, as you can see. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we talk a lot on this morning about the menopause, and ITV actually do have a menopause mentor. And I know these are things that both of you are very keen to have in the workplace. Before we talk about that, though, let's just talk about your personal stories, because there will probably be women watching who might be in similar positions as you were, not really knowing what's going on with them. So let's start with you, Debs. And you...
Debs, you've got a story.
Were, 25 years in corporate work, management, high-flying career. What happened?
Perimenopause hit about 39 years old, which is a lot younger than a lot of people associate with menopause and menopause symptoms. But I didn't know that's what it was at the time. So I was just plodding along with brain fog, with lack of coordination, couldn't concentrate on things.
When you say brain fog, because people use that expression, can you really describe that to people? Like, how foggy was your brain? How was that affecting you at work?
Yeah, it's like a disconnect to the rest of you. You're very forgetful for the most part. You can't organise things. You lose track of things really quickly. You can't stay focused. You know, it's literally like your brain has been taken out of your body when it gets to extreme.
I mean, we know that this affected your job, but we'll get to that in a minute. But it wasn't just your job. I mean, your personal life was severely affected by this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was married at the time, quite newly married as well, and unfortunately, menopause took its toll, you know, irritability, mood swings, constantly arguing with my now ex-husband, and just didn't want to be kind of, you know, touched or near him, but nobody knew why.
So he, at this point, you know, he doesn't understand what's going on with you. He just thinks you've gone off him, or why is she so irritable, and why doesn't she want me near her?
Yep.
And you didn't know what was going on. So you ended up losing not just one, but 2 or 3 jobs because of this.
Several back-to-back.
Were you going to the GP at this point, and nobody was even recognising it then?
No. I was signed off with depression, first and foremost, and that's a common thing that happens to menopausal women because there's a lot of similar traits in the symptoms. And I had anxiety, fatigue, and they were really the 3 key things that were affecting my whole life, really. And that was what I was telling my employer was the reason for being off. And even then, for 6 years this went on, that nobody really suggested it could be anything menopause related because I was deemed to be too young.
39. So you lost several jobs, you lost your marriage, you lost your home, and you ended up back at home with your mum. We'll come back to you to talk about how you got out of that, because I'm interested to hear from Lesley. Because we talk about so many women in menopause, we're not all the same. We all have different experiences. There's no one-size-fits-all here. What was your menopause experience? And how did it affect you?
Yeah, so, I mean, you're right. There's 48 associated symptoms with menopause.
48?
Yes, we did a study, actually, with Kantar looking nationwide a couple of months ago. And on average, a woman will have 6 symptoms, but they can all be different, exactly as you said. So for me, actually, I came off the pill at 46 thinking, ironically, I wanted to get my hormones back into balance. And little did I know that that was cutting me straight off in terms of estrogen supply. So probably similar to you in premature menopause, I had quite a sudden sort of decline. And the result for me was also difficulty focusing on conversations. I'd also just actually started a new job, and I would have people having corridor chats to me, and I literally would get to my desk and I couldn't remember anything that I was supposed to action. As a result of that, I felt very anxious, that I was getting bad night sweats, so that was disrupting my sleep as well. And then, you know, that obviously affected my mood.
When you said, when you're having those conversations, I mean, that's quite frightening as well, isn't it? Because then you think, I've just talked to that person. I've got to my desk. I can't remember what they've asked me to do, what I'm supposed to be doing. Did you share that with anybody in the workplace at that time?
Not at all. And I hadn't joined the dots with coming off the pill, or I didn't even know
so many women don't. Like you're saying, like, but we all know what the menopause is. I mean, I don't know everything about it by any means, but why do you think people misdiagnose it so much?
I don't think there is enough education yet around what the signs are. So for me, because I was still getting regular periods, I just thought there was something else.
Menopause,
yeah, it's not menopause. I didn't know that there was a stage beforehand. So perimenopause, actually, for people in natural menopause, lasts for 7 years, and it's the decline of estrogen, progesterone, and other hormones like testosterone, oxytocin, and that has a profound impact on people. But it's often actually the emotional symptoms that affect people before the physical. And because everybody just thinks, oh, menopause, hot flushes, they don't associate some of the other things.
But it was, you know, it's so fantastic that we've talked. I mean, I would have said 10 years ago that we would never be sitting on here talking about the menopause, really. No. You know, it hasn't been that long that women are talking about it publicly. We do it a lot on Loose Women, obviously, because there was always that stigma. It was always kind of whispered, oh, she's going through the change, the change.
Oh, yeah, the change. That's
like,
what it was, wasn't it?
Change. Going the change. But it's almost like women were embarrassed. It's better now, but I would imagine still more to do, in your opinion, particularly when it comes to the workplace, because you you're the founder of Over the Bloody Moon. Explain what you do. You go into companies and kind of help them understand the menopause.
Yeah, so we remove the muddle from menopause, and we work and partner with companies to become menopause friendly. So every company, just like menopause, there's no one size fits all. Every company has a different culture. It might be male dominated, it might be large and have lots of kind of, you know, budget, others might not. So we work with them on training, run events, learning resources, but effectively we enable them to go on their own menopause journey, to remove the taboo. And to have a conversation about it. But it can also be really difficult for people managers to, like, how do you bring up that conversation without offending somebody? So we help them in the same way with all the good work that's happening with mental health. And
I know, Debs, you've become a confidence coach. So with your experience, you're helping other women, which is amazing and must give you such, you know, satisfaction. And we're talking about various companies who are leading the way in this. I said ITV Daytime do have a menopause mentor. Boots, who previously supported the This Morning campaign, they actually covered the cost of their team members' prescriptions for HRT. Timpson also pay for HRT. Tesco's planning to change their uniforms to a more breathable fabric. So change is on the way. Thank you both so much.
Change is on the way. Oh, she's so punny, this one.
See what I did
She's funny.
there?
Lady, so lovely to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.